What's up, Front Range? Welcome to quarantine workout number 4. Today we're going back into the concentric and eccentric movements. This is a bit of our heavier load and more intense day of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed that cardiovascular workout yesterday. If you do have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email or comment on the video on the Facebook page, and we're more than willing to help you guys out. As most of you are aware, I guess we just all got put on lockdown yesterday, but that doesn't mean we still can't get the workout in, right? So today, especially on days like today, if you do have like smaller weights at your house or kettlebells or even like a backpack or something, feel free to use that. Since we split these today's workout up into different groups, we want to be able to have at least a little bit of weight. We don't need to go crazy and be very overbearing, but it's good if you can add a little bit of weight to these workouts, then that's only going to benefit you even more. So as always, we want to start with our active warm-up, jogging around for a few minutes, getting that heart rate pumping, getting the blood moving, and then we go into the knee pulls, the quad pulls, high knees, butt kicks. You do the lunge with the twist over that front knee into the inchworms, making sure you keep that core nice and tight, not losing that spine stability. And then we go into our 3-way lunge activation. Remember, when we do the lunge activations, we don't want that heel coming up off the ground and that knee shooting too far forward. And then especially when we do our side lunge, we're sitting back in those hips, still driving our weight through those heels. After that, we're going to do our 6 5-second squat holds where our toes and feet are facing forward and parallel. We sit back in our hips and we're just sitting here, squeezing my glutes and my core, holding for 5 seconds, and then back up. After that, today we're going to work on our stability. We call them triangle touches for the single legs. And every time that whatever leg is on the ground, I'm reaching with my opposite hand. Okay, and so we're doing 3 touches. Now, as I'm moving down to touch the floor, my hips are moving back first, not my knee moving forward first. Remember that it's always that hip hinge, whether it's single leg or double leg movements, but it's touching on the opposite side of my opposite foot, touching in front of my opposite foot, and then touching on the same side. You can do 9 to 12 touches for each foot, trying to keep that opposite leg up in the air the whole time. To help stabilize that leg that's on the ground, feel free to, or make sure you're contracting your glutes and your core. That's going to help you not be unstable and wobble around as much. After that, we go into our core activation, our 3 phases where our heels are close to our butt, and we'll walk out our heels a little bit. And after that, your body is laid all the way out, making sure that that spine is driven into the ground along with your diaphragm and your belly button, making sure that there's no space in between your spine and the floor. After that, you can go ahead and do 5 Turkish Get-Ups on each side, making sure that you're watching that hand the whole time, and then that fist stays parallel with the ceiling, okay? So go ahead and pause the video, go ahead and go through the active warm-up, get yourself ready to go, and then we'll get ready to go with the workout. So for today, we're starting off with group 1. We have bodyweight squats, burpees, and then plank body saws. Okay, so for the bodyweight squats, we're doing 4 sets of 10, okay? And remember, this is a tri-set, right? So we do one exercise, then the other, and you keep going through all 3 until we finish 4 sets of all 3 exercises. So for the tempo today in the bodyweight squats, we'll be doing a 4-2-1, which means that we are going 4 seconds on the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, then we hold for 2, 1, 2, and up, right? So really making sure, right, our core is engaged, my glutes are engaged, my feet are parallel, and I'm spreading the floor with my feet. Notice how my knees go out when I spread the floor, right? And that locks my hip joint into place, making sure that I'm not losing any stability in my pelvic region, okay? So you're doing 10 reps, right? In that first set, you're doing 10 reps of 4 seconds on the way down, 2-second hold, and then up, okay? And then immediately after that, you're going into your burpees for 12 burpees. Remember, get those feet going. Drop down, pop up, jump, down, pop up, jump. And remember, to make it more advanced, you can add that push-up in there, or you can just finish in that high plank position, right? We're trying to finish those as fast as possible. Get that heart rate pumping a little bit. After that, we're gonna go into the plank and the body saw, which is the same variation as just a normal plank, but instead of just sitting here, what I'm going to be doing is moving back or forward and back, keeping that core engaged, my glutes engaged, right? That belly button is sucked up into my spine, and you're adding a little bit of rotational movement to this plank variation. You'll notice your core gets a lot tighter the more forward you move and the more back you move. You just want to make sure that that spine stays neutral, right? And your back stays flat the entire time. So like I said, we're doing those 3 exercises for 4 sets, 10 reps on the squats with a 4-2-1 tempo. Then you got 12 burpees, nice and explosive, and then 35 seconds on the plank body saws. Go ahead and pause and do that first set now. All right, for group 2, we have front foot elevated lunge holds. We have alternating lunge jumps and shoulder taps. Right, so you notice we're doing similar movements this week that we did last week as well too, but we're mixing it up just a little bit. For the front foot elevated lunge holds, I just have a small box here that's about half a foot to a foot high. I definitely wouldn't want to go much higher than this, right? If I have, like for this box here, this is a little too high for me, right? I don't want to get too much overextension in that hip region, okay? So if you can't find something that's this small, don't be worried about it, and go ahead and just do a normal lunge hold here, okay? But for the elevated lunge hold, I want to make sure my whole foot is on the box, okay? I'm going to sit this foot back a little bit, and then I'm just going to drop down to where that back knee is almost touching the ground, and I'm at 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, right? I'm not shooting that knee forward, right? I'm just dropping straight down, and I'm just going to sit here for 30 seconds. And I don't want to go too far to where I'm losing tension in my leg muscles on this front elevated foot, right? So I want to go down until to make sure that this whole leg is firing right now. If I go too far, I start to lose tension in that muscles, and I'm not actually hurting myself more than helping myself out, right? So you'll do 30 seconds each leg for that exercise. Immediately after that, you will be doing alternating lunge jumps, which we did last week, right? I just started in this lunge position, jump up, up, nice and explosive, getting those feet off the ground. We're doing 8 total, 4 each leg. Immediately after that, you go into your shoulder taps, which is in a high plank position. Remember, glutes are squeezed, core is squeezed, and I'm just alternating, nice and controlled, touching those shoulders, hands are directly underneath my shoulders, making a nice stable movement here, okay? So for that second group, you're doing 3 sets. For those 3 exercises, you got 30 seconds each leg on the lunge holds, 8 total alternating lunge jumps, and then 40 seconds on the shoulder taps, okay? Go ahead and pause and do that now. For group 3, we have the dead start push-ups and the bent over Y's, T's, and W's. Just to go over the form again for this week. For the dead start push-ups, if you can't do regular push-ups, we're gonna go ahead and start on the ground. And I'm gonna squeeze my glutes, squeeze my core, and I'm gonna try and retract those scaps. Make sure that those elbows are at 45 degrees, not 90 degrees, right outside my shoulders, putting a lot of slack and unnecessary tension in those shoulder joints. I'm gonna squeeze everything, and then I'm pushing up, and then I'm coming down for 3 to 4 seconds. Nice and controlled, keeping those scaps retracted. and then go ahead and relax. But if you, like I said, if you can do regular push-ups, feel free to go ahead and do those. And then for the bent over Y's, T's, and W's, this week to change it up for each position, we're going to start off holding it for 5 seconds in that outstretched position. So for the Y position, right, I just have a nice hip hinge here. You can notice my back is still flat. And I'm bringing my scaps, I'm retracting my scaps. I'm going to hold it out in the position here for 5 seconds. And then I'm going for 12 each repetition, nice, slow, and controlled, really making sure that I'm isolating my scap muscles and pulling from there, right? If I'm starting to move my whole body, then I'm doing too much, right? It's just isolating those scaps and really focusing on creating that tension in that muscle. So after those are the Y's. Then we got the T's, which is same thing, hip hinge from the hips. We're gonna go out to the side. Again, hold for 5. And then we go for 12. Nice and controlled with a little squeeze at the top every time. Same thing for the W. I'm gonna go up here, hold for 5, and out, down, up for 12, okay? So for group 3, again, 3 sets. We're going 6 to 10 on the dead start push-ups, depending on your capability level. And then the Y's, T's, and W's, remember you hold for 5 in that outstretched top position for each one, and then you do 12 repetitions on each. Go ahead and pause and do that now. For group 4, we have single leg RDLs and the calves complex. So for the single leg RDLs, remember, we're doing a 3-1-1 tempo, which means 3 seconds or a 3 count on the way down, hold for 1, and then up for 1. So remember to make sure we're stabilizing this leg. My core is contracted, my glute is contracted on the leg that's on the ground, and I'm reaching in front of me, keeping my scaps retracted and my chest up with my opposite arm of the leg that's on the ground, okay? So it's gonna look a little bit something like this. We count for 1, 2, 3. Notice how my back is still flat, it's not rounded. I'm not reaching straight down right here. And then we hold for 1 and up for 1. So again, it's 1, 2, 3, hold for 1 and up. If you can, try and keep that opposite leg up the whole time. Really working on that stability of that single leg. So you got 8 each leg for those single RDLs. Immediately after that, we got our calves complex, which this week we'll be doing 15 double leg calf raises. And if you want, you can get a little elevated step on it too, right? Go to a stair. That way we get that full range of motion and we're working everything in those calves, right? So feel free to hold it for a second at the top. Make sure we're getting all the way down, getting that full range of motion. So you got 15 both legs, and then we got 5 single legs. Woo! And then 5 with the other leg, right? So we got the 3-1-1 tempo for the single leg RDLs, and then you got 15 double legs, 5 single leg, 3 sets each on that. That's it for our workout today. Keep washing those hands. We know it's probably getting tough for that social distancing and not being able to see all your friends, but keep working out. Keep being motivated. Remember, it's all about the process, and we're only gonna get stronger through these tough times. Thanks for joining us.